All right, so everybody, thanks for showing up. We got about 8 minutes until we get started on the Turner Gulch and Wright Draw Fires community meeting. Please feel free to carry on your conversations, that sort of thing. This is kind of serving as a sound check for us and a check for the folks who are out there online watching in on Facebook Live. And we will be back with you in about 6 minutes to start the meeting. All right, folks, we're going to get started here in about 3 minutes. If folks could start finding seats, we'll get started very shortly. Thank you. Good evening, folks. We're about to get started. Hello. My name is Grant Porter, Public Information Officer with Rocky Mountain Area Complex Incident Management Team 1. Welcome to the Turner Gulch Wright Draw Community Meeting here in the town of Gateway. We are here at the Gateway Community Center. We also have a live stream on Facebook Live right now. And hello to everybody out there on the internet. First off, I'd like to thank all of you for the use of this facility, but even more so, welcoming us to the community. We've been in town for about 36 hours, and we're really grateful for the outpouring of support from the community that we've felt so far. So, update on the fires, the reason everybody's here. The Turner Gulch fire from a mapping flight last night was 13,984 acres. The Wright Draw fire is 488 acres in size. As of this morning, there were 475 personnel working on the incident. There were more arriving. There was a crew getting briefed in when I left from Clifton this afternoon. Couple housekeeping items. One, the restrooms are right through that door if anybody needs them. Second off, if you have your phone with you, please mute it so we don't have interruptions through the evening. And lastly, we're asking folks to save their questions until the end. We've got a lineup of speakers for you. Once we get through the speakers, those speakers, the agency representatives, the folks from the team, from the fire team, will be available to all of you. Find out the folks who you want. We'll have them spread around the room. And you're welcome to ask any questions that you have at that point. And we'll be here as long as we need to get folks all taken care of. So, this evening, we have a handful of speakers for you. The first is going to be Greg Larson, Agency Administrator with the Bureau of Land Management. Second is going to be Dana Garduno with U.S. Forest Service. Then Glenn Lewis, Fire Behavior Analyst with the Incident Management Team. Travis Lipp, Operations Section Chief with the Incident Management Team. Galen Doherty, Fire Chief here in Gateway. Ryan McCauley with Department of Fire Prevention and Control with the state. Sheriff Todd Rowell is here with us tonight, and Commissioner Cody Davis. And we'll end up the evening with Ben Sanders, Incident Commander, trainee for the incident. So with that being said, Greg Larson.
I guess I jumped the gun there. I'm eager to speak, I guess. I will keep it short, though. Got to hit the blue tape here. Again, I'm Greg Larson. I live over in Grand Junction. I'm the district manager for the Upper Colorado River Basin District, BLM. I want to point out our other local team. Stacy Colonna is the local field manager here for the Grand Junction Field Office, and Isaac Pittman is our assistant field manager for resources and range. So we're here at your disposal this evening and answer questions afterwards, hook in and talk to you. I want to just start by thanking everyone who came out to our meeting tonight. Really appreciate your time, and want to just explain a little bit about our process. So I'm the agency administrator right now for this fire for the BLM, which means that I've got that decision-making responsibility for the fire, expenses, staffing. And when this fire broke out, we took local control, and then we bumped that up to a local team. It became really clear early that it was going to exceed our local capacity, and that's why we called in the Rocky Mountain team that's here. And we are really grateful to have their help on something that was really bigger than we could handle. BLM's got a lot of neighbors, and we really want to be a good neighbor. So everyone coming out, asking questions, giving us your concerns, exchanging information really helps us serve all of you and be a better neighbor. We've got a lot of ground that we help manage out here. Never more true than a fire, and my hope is that we, at the end of this incident, we leave with better relationships than we came in with, and some new relationships with our neighbors. So, really do want to hear from all you, and make sure that the team that we've brought in to help us manage this fire gets the information they need to better serve you and impact you guys the least. I know having 500 new residents in Gateway is a big deal. So, thanks.
Thanks, Greg. Next up, Dana Garduno with U.S. Forest Service.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dana Garduno. I'm normally the district ranger for the Forest Service out of Montrose, Colorado. For those of you who might know Bill Edwards, who's the local ranger here in Grand Valley, I'm not Bill, but I am here filling in for him tonight, and consider myself somewhat of a local, being just down the road in Montrose. But would just like to add on that I think a lot of us are familiar with having fire in this part of the world. It's something that we have to live with, being in the West. But it always hits different when it's in your backyard and it's here where you live, and that can be really emotional, it can be real personal, it can be really scary at times. So I'm sure everybody's feeling a little bit different, but I just wanted to recognize that and understand that we're here to serve you all. We've got a fantastic team, both locally and with Rocky Mountain Team 1 that's here to help us through this. And as Greg said, we would really like to get any information or intel from you all. Make sure you feel well informed. If there's things that you can be doing to help yourselves or your neighbors in the community, that's always a great place to start, to feel like you're able to be part of something. So really appreciate you all, and please let us know and keep us informed if there's things that we can be doing to serve you better. Thank you.
Thanks, Dana. Next up, Glenn Lewis, Fire Behavior Analyst with Team 1.
Never trust an analyst with an electronic device. Glenn Lewis, and I talk loud too, I apologize up front. Glenn Lewis, Fire Behavior Analyst with Rocky Mountain Team 1. So I want to talk a little bit about the situation that led up to the conditions we're in, and then I'll give you the lowdown about kind of where we're headed here. So extremely dry conditions out there, as most of you folks know if you're locally here. We are in a severe to extreme drought conditions in the area. That's leading out of the winter months with below average precipitation. Did get a little bit of a shot of moisture in June in the area, as I understand, which just basically produced enough grass to increase the fuel loading out there. So So that kind of sets up the situation that we have here, leading to extremely dry fuels. The way that we measure fuels are through something we call an energy release component, and that basically is just a measure of how much energy could be released at the flaming front of the fire due to how dry the fuels are. We are at or above the 97th percentile here, which means extremely dry. Only 3% of 2 to maybe 3%, maybe even less of the days in a historical record would produce fuels that are drier than this. And so we've got an extended period of extremely dry fuels here. The BIs, which is how fast the fire will spread, is also extremely high in that range there. And that is really unusual because the BI also incorporates wind in it, and we have not seen high winds on the fire here, except for in a couple of very localized locations. So that's just an indicator of how dry the fuels are out there, and that is anticipated to continue. So what happened then? Get the fire started in these extremely dry fuels. The live fuel moistures in particular, what the big problem we're having out there right now is the oak brush type of oak brush that you folks have here gets very dry. The chemical component of the leaves is very flammable when it gets to this point. And that is one of the tricky things about this is in a lot of situations, it would underburn those oak and not really produce high flame lengths out of it or rapid rates of spread. Once it gets to this point, it's a light switch and it becomes very volatile. So you go from fuels that didn't really want to burn very much. When you get to this point, very volatile, very rapid rates of spread out of it, and a high spotting potential. And so that's a situation that set this up. Then what happens is when the fire has gotten going, we call it what happens when it gets into alignment. And that is when the fuels, we have a fire triangle, fuels, weather, and topography. Those are the things that drive fire behavior. And so when the fuels, the receptive fuels that are ready to burn are in alignment with slope and the wind direction, that's when we really see rapid rates of spread. And that's what occurred a couple of days ago when it moved down the Highway 141 corridor. Even though they were relatively light winds, that's the one place where the winds are a little bit higher because they tend to channel going down that direction. So that's kind of what we've been seeing out of that. Those conditions are expected to continue. The incident meteorologist couldn't be here tonight, so he did give me the outlook in terms of weather. For tomorrow, very similar conditions. So this is about 4 days in a row of very similar conditions. Very hot, very dry, but again, luckily not anticipating seeing high wind speeds that would really drive some very erratic fire behavior. So then moving into Friday and Saturday, we will see a little bit cooler weather and a little bit more moisture in the air. But still, even with that Friday, Saturday, humidity is still dropping down in the mid-20s, which is still very conducive for burning. And then Sunday dropping back down again, Monday and Tuesday, really getting back to the kind of conditions that we're currently experiencing here. So. We also, one of the things that we're really watching out for, and one of the reasons the incident meteorologist can't be here right now, is he's watching the radar. As hot and dry as it is, any little bit of moisture in the upper atmosphere produces thunderstorms. And most of these thunderstorms right now, there's enough to build up and produce lightning strikes, but not really enough to produce much for precipitation. Precipitation that may come out of it is generally pretty light and very scattered, so we're not really anticipating to see precipitation over the fire anytime soon. So that combined, the monsoon, moisture that normally would be coming up this time of year is pretty much non-existent and is not anticipated to develop within the next 2 weeks. So that normal flow that you would see up here that would moisten things up and kind of slow down the fire season for this time of year is probably not going to occur anytime soon. So in general, the situation then with the fire moving along the Highway 141 corridor, that was very rapid rates of spread. It is now moved up and it's gotten up on top of the plateau there. And that's a good thing. A couple of reasons, because again, we talked about topography. It's flatter, so we doesn't get a chance to get a run. There's less channeling. It is a little bit more exposed to the wind up there, And there are some heavier fuels up there, but there's also, as most folks, if you're local here know, the fuels become a little more discontinuous in places, a little more patchy. Very heavy in some spots, but also patchy. And so that's an area where if firefighters can get a safe place to anchor off of and work, they can make some good progress on this. The fire behavior with those lighter fuels, they have safety zones that they can retreat to and not get flanked. So, because one of the big concerns with these light, flashy fuels that you folks have is when firefighters get out there, a very slight change in wind can allow them to be flanked and put them in a really dangerous situation. And so that's one of the really important things in these kind of fuels, especially in these steep terrain here, where you can get some channeling. Or a thunderstorm. The thunderstorm could be 20 miles from here, but the outflow winds can reach the fire. And again, it doesn't give those firefighters enough time to get out. So that's one of the situations. From a fire behavior standpoint, it's really a watch out here. That has happened. We have lost firefighters, not that down by Glenwood Springs. There was a couple of decades ago, but that very similar kind of situation to what we're setting here. It's really a watch out situation for the operations folks to be watching. And I believe that's probably beat that one to death, so I apologize. That's what analysts do.
Thanks so much, Glenn. Travis Lip.
Evening, Travis Lip. I'm one of the operations section chiefs for Rocky Mountain Team 1. I'm going to talk about the fire tonight, what we're doing, where it's at, go completely around. I'll talk about Turner. I'll talk about Wright Draw. But I want to say a couple things first, why we make those decisions as I talk about where we're putting line, where the firefighters are, right? So all of our decisions we make are risk-based. We utilize science to make those decisions. We utilize that to analyze and assess where we put our firefighters. As you probably all know, our number one concern where we put firefighters is we want them to be safe. If something does happen, injury or something, we want to be able to get them out quicker. So you heard Glenn. Down in this country right now, the fuels are extremely dry. They're volatile. You guys probably seen that when you had an afternoon 6-mile run along the 144 corridor. The terrain. We talked about the terrain along the 144 corridor. The fire is up on the plateau now, but we've got to somehow get from the bottom up to the top in some pretty nasty, steep country. So we assess that also. So I'll talk a little bit about that. But I just want you to know some of the decisions that go into why we make some of the decisions that we do. And with that, I'll start on the Turner Gulch fire over on the west side. I'm going to reference some of the divisions. There will be some changes tomorrow, but I'll kind of mention them as we start. So right up here, just east of the Wright Drop fire, I'm going to start here in what is Division Yankee. A lot of good work has went into Division Yankee the last couple days. You're not seeing a lot of smoke, and as a result of not only utilizing aircraft, but folks on the ground safely, tomorrow, Matt, you'll see some black edge. And what that black edge represents will be some containment. So you'll see the containment start to go up. I'm sure all of you look at that. You will see, as a reference point, you probably all see the fires you drive by up here, way up high in the goat rocks, right? There'll be some smoke still visible, so we won't show black around where that smoke is in the rock scree area. The reason we can't put boots on the ground, we call it, we can't put the firefighters in there to physically go put that fire out. So we'll utilize aircraft, we'll look at what's burning, it's in the rock scree, and we'll just continue to monitor that. So if you see a spot on our black line that isn't completely black, that is the reason that you'll see that. Let's continue on along the 144 corridor. Part of that is Yankee, part of that is Zulu. I'm going to start going west to east. where the fire a couple days ago made the big push, that area is also starting to look really good. We continue to have crews in there, continuing to mop up and secure around all of the structures. We will continue to do that. The last thing we want to do, we think an area is out as the fire progresses. We leave the area that's been burned for 3 or 4 days, and then something smolders for a while, and we lose a structure. We don't like that. I know you wouldn't like that. So we continuously have folks go back and patrol, and we will continue to do that. But with that, in the next couple days along the 144 corridor going west to east here, expect to see some additional containment in there around all those structures. So the fire made a push, a pretty good push along the 144 corridor to Gills Creek. Gill Creek, there we go. I knew I was going to mess up. So it kind of hung up high in the rock outskirts. There's some rock faces. There's some on the lower elevation. It's brush. It kind of sat there for a couple days. We utilized aircraft, both helicopters and retardant, to check that fire up, to buy us some time to continue assessing and prepping structures going out along the 144 corridor. So as that slowed down, we utilized that aircraft to check it up and continue to assess the structures along the corridor, many structures. So we continue to have folks out there doing that right now, going all the way down to the divide road. In the meantime, just continue to hang up in the rocks there. This morning we were able to go up with the division group supervisor and one of the superintendents off a hot shot crew. They flew it, looked at it. It looked like we had the opportunity to probably maybe do something there to get it up off of the corridor up into the plateau, into that country where Glenn said, more flat, rolling hills where we can do a lot more work. We assessed it. They flew it. Glenn flew it this morning. And I flew with Glenn. We took a good hard look at it. Then the firefighters that are going to go do that work put their boots on the ground and go look at it and see if they're comfortable doing it. So as we currently speak, that in that area I'm talking about, Gill Creek, we are utilizing the features, natural features, rock terrain, and bringing that edge or cold trailing, making sure that edge is secure, going up all the way to the plateau and tying it into this 417 road that ties into the divide road. So a lot of good work continues to go on there. It's slow progress. I'll tell you that is some steep country. We put half of a crew from 2 different shot crews, hot shot crews, in there doing that. We did when that sail come through and we got them 20, 25 mile an hour winds, we did have to pull them off the hill. So, but they're back up there now, working. At the same time, that's our primary line. We get it up here to this 417 on the flat, and we can take it out to the east here, to the divide road. We still are you're gonna see folks, firefighters along the corridor, continue to assess and do structure protection. Should this not work, we'll be prepared to be on the offensive in this, because we have prepped around the structures should we need to move forward versus a couple nights ago, that 5-6 mile run, we were on the defensive. The fire was outpacing us. Now we have bought ourselves time to get it ahead of the fire, makes that push, we're on the offensive. So a lot of good work going in there. We'll go over to the east side, the divide road. This is the divide road right here. So we got resources in here currently. This, you probably can't see it, Casto Reservoir right there. We got resources in there currently. There's several structures all throughout that area. This morning, that was where the biggest fire activity was, right into the reservoir. So we are doing some firing, burning out. Started early this morning, right around from the reservoir going north to secure around structures. Same time we're doing that, these structures that are spread out throughout here, we continue to assess and prep all those structures there. So a lot of good work going on there, and as we continue to get resources coming in, that just allows us that much more work to continue. They'll continue that into the future with the intent of utilizing the divide road coming down. Let me get my bearings here. Here's the campground, and the intent right now is to continue to utilize the divide road coming around here to Road 416. Tomorrow's map, you'll see a Division Q, Division Quebec. We'll staff resources in here from where Division Oscar takes off, going to the 416 fire, or 416 road up to where this communication site is. So we'll start to get folks in there. As conditions allow, I should go back. We'll continue to prep along this road also, in preparation that we need to potentially fire it out to secure it. But at the same time, when I tell you we're looking at all of our options, we start out wide, right, where we're safe. We can get the work done. Maybe the weather changes. You heard Glenn talk about the upcoming forecast. The fire behavior changes with the conditions that we got up top here, some more open ground, flat ground. We can start shrinking in where it's feasible to do that. And we will look for those areas and where we can safely do that and potentially continue that work. Coming around, I told you there's Moore's Cabin up here. There's this private piece right here. I just want to point out, I haven't talked about this. They'll be black all the way to the Forest Service boundary right here. And then where your comm site is here, that's about where we can put people, and we'll start engaging. There's a little piece right in here, right? It is a nasty piece of country. Just looking at it from the air, it's tough. We don't have a plan right now for that, but we will continue to utilize aircraft and scouts to look at options that we have in there. But it's a small piece. We'll continue to assess, but it's a piece of unforgiving country that you got there. Let's talk about Wright draw fire. Terrain isn't much better over there on the Wright draw fire, right? Probably worse. There has been retardant utilized on this west side up on the top of the ridge here, and some on the north to check that up and secure it, and it's worked. And I was over it, flew over it this morning. It's actually, the edge is cold. It's got some of that areas out. There's a, right here on the east side, it's hard to see, kind of in the middle on the east side. Steep goes down into some rocky, outcroppy areas. Still, that's the smoke you're seeing is coming from right there. Our concern right there is we get rollout down into the bottom of the canyon, and then everything aligns, as Glenn talked about, fuels and terrain, and it makes a big push to the north. So we're utilizing aircraft, helicopter, right in this area to continue to do bucket drops. It's not putting it out. Will it? Maybe. But it buys us that critical time that we need to allow our firefighters up here to the north. We got firefighters in here. They come down on and work with the helicopters when they're dropping. But we also got resources up here doing structure protection, structure assessments also. So that allows us time, should this make a push, we're ready for that. We're still looking at this fire hard on the exact plan that we're going to use. When I say it's probably worse terrain than Turner, it really is where it's at. You can't put people in there, you know, it's just straight up and down and rocky. So we'll continue to assess that, but at the same time, we are, you know, where we can safely engage and utilize aircraft, we are, and then we're continuing to do work up top. I also want to mention, you've seen the aircraft flying a lot, the retardant planes, helicopters a lot too. But we'll utilize that retardant where we can follow it up with our firefighters. Retardant is it's not a suppressant, right? It's a retardant, it slows spread. But if you don't follow it up with something, the fire will eventually go through it. So we utilized it to buy us time, but then up here today we did drop some more retardant up along 417. We're able to follow that up with firefighters, right? So a lot of good work being done out there with in some very challenging terrain, very challenging fuels, some very hot temperatures. And I'm just going to end with, we can't do, I say we, the team can't do any of this without the support of your local cooperators, right? Sheriffs, Grand Valley Electric, the electric company. When all this is going on, they're shutting down power, blocking the highway to help our firefighters on the ground. So I do want to just recognize this is a team effort with the local ones you got here. It's been a pleasure so far working with them, and we'll continue to do that into the next couple weeks, I guess. So with that, thank you.
Thanks, Travis. So as Travis said, local partners are really important. I'd like to welcome up Chief Doherty.
I'll make this really quick. First, I want to say thank you for everyone, or to everyone for coming out. Thank you for the outpouring of support from within Gateway and all the people on the other side of the mountain as well. Red Cross has been inundated with calls of people wanting to help. So while we're here to help support the new teams that are coming in any way we can, I think it's important to note that we're still your local fire department, and we are ready to respond to EMS and fire for our community as needed. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call 911. We are still here for you. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Chief. Ryan McCulley from Department of Fire Prevention and Control.
Hey, good evening. I'm Ryan McCulley. I'm with the Colorado Division of Fire Prevention and Control. I'm one of the state agency administrators here from the state side of the house, working closely with all the partners. I just want to take this minute and highlight the close interagency relationships that we have here in Mesa County, from the local level with Galen, with Gateway Fire Department, all the staff with Mesa County Sheriff's Office, up through the U.S. Forest Service and the BLM, and other partners with the state of Colorado. We're fortunate to live here in Mesa County where we have such good working relationships, and it's a great place to work and live. And I also wanted to thank you guys for letting us move into your community. We're going to be here for a bit while we're working to address the fire. I just wanted to assure you that everybody's working very closely together in coordination to protect the values of risks that are up here. So thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Ryan. Next up, Sheriff Todd Rowell.
Thank you. I just wanted to come up and say, I recognize that people in Gateway, their property is more than just property. Many of you make your money, make your living off of your properties. Much of it is generational, and there is an emotional attachment to this. I've worked with the state and federal agencies for a long time. In fact, I think when Ryan and I were on our first fire together, I might have had a full head of hair, and that's long gone now. For my organization, I've dedicated a division chief to this, Art Smith. If you can raise your hand behind, he's going to be on this until it's out. Andy Martzoff, many of you know him, he's our emergency manager for Mesa County. He's coordinating everything and deeply involved in the incident command structure. And Rich Acree, are you here? Right there. So most of you, I know the majority of people here, but probably all of you know who Rich Acree is. If you have any questions, give us a call, please. We're coordinating with everybody. We get a briefing. We're in on every single briefing. Some of the things that we're going to be controlling is road closures. You're going to see deputies and some of our volunteers from the sheriff's office closing roads. We promise if it's safe to let local traffic through, we'll let local traffic through. If we're saying no, there's a reason why we're saying no. It's not to make life convenient. It's to make sure everybody's safe. Unfortunately, nationwide, some people take advantage of these opportunities, and they do break into houses and they steal stuff from properties. So you're going to see a rotating patrol of deputies. There's deputies on overtime that are going to be around the evacuated areas. Don't worry if you're asked to evacuate. There's going to be deputies there. We've also put up some of our technology to identify those people if they do show up. This is way too good of a community for outsiders to do something like that to us. If you get evacuated from your property and you need some place to stay, Red Cross has set up a place for you to stay at. I know, in fact, they told me today that nobody's taken advantage of that. I've known the people of Gateway for a long time, and for them to ask for help is probably not going to happen. They're going to look to their neighbors and they're going to take care of each other. If you drive through the canyon and see several of those structures and the fire right up next to them, I hope you understand the talent of this incident management team and the firefighters that are on the ground doing the very best they can. We'll stay tied in with them. This isn't going to be over in a week, guys. We're planning through the fire process, and only God knows how long that's going to take. Be in it for the long haul, and we're also planning on what does flooding look like. Once there's a burn scar, water doesn't go into the ground anymore. So we are working together with the incident management team, some of our natural resources, and making sure that we don't have two natural disasters. So thank you. Again, if you have questions, if you don't know who to talk to, call dispatch, ask to talk to one of the sheriff's office employees on the fire. We'll talk to any of you and make sure you're clued in on what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Next up, Commissioner Cody Davis, Mesa County.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks for coming tonight, guys. I do appreciate it. As I was walking up here, Diane back there handed me a note, and this just shows the type of community you guys are. It says, if anyone needs a shower or a snooze, a nap, Joey offered his Airbnb at 53 Foy Road for tonight, tomorrow. Please come by. There's AC, showers, food, a little bit of food, sofas, and clean towels. So if anybody needs one of those, Diane, wave your hand. She'll get you connected to Joey. But again, I think that just shows the spirit here in Gateway. We get an update from Andy and the team up in Mesa every day, and every time an area gets evacuated, they tell us that area, and I asked Andy the other day how many people have evacuated, and I don't think very many people have evacuated. But I think that's because that's just the spirit of Gateway. Come hell or high water, we're going to defend our property, we're going to take care of our neighbors, our farms and stuff like that, and that's what I appreciate about this community. Todd Hollenbeck, our county administrator, signed a local disaster emergency declaration today. And what that means for this area is it activates Mesa County emergency response and recovery plans. It enables fast action, flexibility, and state level support. It opens up access to flood mitigation. We're not only thinking about the fire now, but in the future we're thinking flood. So flood mitigation, watershed protection, and long-term recovery resources. I did want to thank all of our partners. I mean, Mesa County can't do this on our own. The sheriff's initial response was quick, swift, and then the state's response was, again, when it got to that next level, swift. But we've got Rocky Mountain Team 1 in here now. They're the big boys. and they're going to take care of this fire. And I couldn't thank, it's amazing to see how these guys come into town and take over and take this fire on. It's impressive. It really is. So I want to thank all of our teams. I want to thank all the community. If you guys need anything, please reach out. Stay safe, and God bless.
Thank you, Commissioner. Incident Commander Ben Sanders with Team 1.
Good evening. My name is Ben Sanders. I'm the Incident Commander Trainee for Rocky Mountain Complex Incident Management Team 1. Wow, that's a big title there. But in my day job, I am the Deputy Forest AFMO on the GMUG. So I live in Mesa County. I work in Mesa County. This fire is going to be with me from the start to the next 4 months. Or not 4 months, sorry, I misspoke there. The next few weeks or maybe a team transition. So I care about the community. I care about what happens, and it's associated with my day job as well. You've heard from three of our 75 people that we have on the incident management team. You've heard from our operations, which talked about how we evaluate risk and how we evaluate values and how we evaluate risks to responders and how we place resources according to that across the board. You've heard from our analysts, our fire behavior, that we're looking 2 or 3 weeks out. You know, we want us to be successful, and we want to have little impact on the community as well. To make our transition easier for the last 36 hours, I'd like to give a shout out to Chief Glenn Doherty. He seems like the heart of the community. Every time we've asked, he's helped out no matter what. He may be busy, but him and his staff take the time for us to ask any questions. The Gateway Canyon Lodge, providing our fire camp down there. Great help. It expedited the process, and you guys as well for showing up. I'm so impressed on how many people showed up for this community. It's outstanding, and it shows how much you care for this community as well. And I'd like to give a shout out to Mesa County Sheriff as well. They provide us excellent service throughout this whole entire thing with evacuations and CDOT for helping us assist with to and from the Mesa Grand Junction and the Grand Valley for you guys. Thank you.
So that concludes our set of speakers for the evening. For everybody online, for everybody here rather, we're going to break out. We've got a handful of maps set up in the back. We've got one with evacuation polygons on it, and Andy's going to be back there to answer questions about that. There's Travis and Glenn will be up here to answer questions about the fire, fuels, tactics, that sort of thing. The agency representatives will be around as well if you have questions about public lands closures, that sort of thing. Please find them. You've seen a lot of introductions this evening. But most of all, and for the folks online, if you have questions, put them in the chat. Our information officers will work through those, and we'll get back to you as we can. We'll research the answers. We'll get with the experts, that sort of thing. Be patient with us. You all outnumber us out there online by quite a bit. But beyond that, thank you all so much for your time. Please stick around, ask questions. We're grateful for your support. We're grateful that you came out. And please feel free to ask anything that you have. Take care.